And to continue on with politics not understanding religion, as far as morality goes, that is a complicated matter. We all know that. It's important to take moral stances on things, on issues, on topics, and to know, well, how it gets filtered and diluted to the receiver of that message. However, morality is more complex than politics. And that's why I am a proponent of you can't legislate it. But you do deduce morality into politics, and it is legislated in a form, but it's not to the point where it makes any real progress. It makes any sense. Sure, there can be laws passed that are outright morally good. That's a subjective term. Outright morally bad. But it gets to the point where it's a deductive struggle. It's a reductive struggle. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't. It sets itself up for lost progress instead of gained consciousness, instead of wisdom being a part of the solution. And to me, that's where religion answers a lot of those questions. Being just empty in the platitudes that politics offers, it still doesn't understand the moral implications that it, well, prescribes or subscribes itself to. I guess you could go both ways on that. That's a little tricky. But it's tricky in the sense that both those roads lead to nowhere in politics. If you're pursuing a career in politics, maybe. But then you might be selling out or selling something. And anybody's going to be willing to buy it up that, well, wants to compromise that person. But that's another issue. That's a whole other issue. If you're willing to sell yourself out, then morally, forget it. I mean, you're not standing for anything you believe in. You're just talking from a platform that is just completely void. You're not carrying any beliefs. You're not doing anything. You're not doing any good. So that is a little bit less subjective, but still subjective when it comes to good. And when politics doesn't understand that, politics can't solve that. Politics won't solve that. Which is ridiculous to me, because there should be some kind of solution, but finding it's a lost cause. It's a lost nihilistic platform. Platitude. Platform. Platypus. Just kidding. Anyway, the emptiness of it gets to the point where it is a reductive and deductive solution. So you're just watering down morality to suit needs of the few, but you're not gaining any ground on infusing religion into politics. And this is where they should work interdependently of each other, but they also should work. Well, it would be wise if they worked independently of each other. But we all know when it comes to something like the Vatican that they don't. However, that is an example. That's whether good or bad depends on the person. But I'm sure that there is something that could be solved outside of the realm of a neoliberal kind of diaspora. Obviously, I've talked about a theocracy in the past, and that's definitely I guess that's politics that could understand religion. However, you need to infuse a religiously centric community into politics. That's theocratic. Could be autocratic. Could be a monarchy. However, those things could become deistic. Those things could delineate from the religion and are always easily corruptible by fallible people. Which, once again, politics doesn't understand religion. So you keep coming to that point where religion gives a moral code, politics tries to enforce it. But I'm very, I've always been very cognizant of the fact that it's just empty words coming from empty suits. And as much as that momentum tries to gain itself for a campaign, they're always going to fall short of it, because not only in a human sense, but in a sense that the corruption is so overt and obvious, and it has been for a long time, that there's groups out there that are willing to do something about it. But now there's also groups that this day and age that just are they just I don't know. They try to be that solution for politics, but they also try to round out either their political nihilism or infuse some kind of religious morality into the equation. And it has to either be a complete overhaul, so you got to tear it down and build it back up, or you infuse it into something you can graft it on, which would be probably lean more in the sector of the conservative side. It's a lot easier to do. Because that's like I've said in the past, it's a Christian-based or a religiously moral-based ethos. Still has its pitfalls, of course, but there's a little bit more context to it when it comes to religion and a deistic thought process. So, once again, politics doesn't understand religion. Never, now in the whole secular culture that we live in, I don't know if it ever will. I hope that it can return to some kind of common ground, but as careful as that has to be thought out, it should be thought out. And that's about it.